Alexander Cross was not supposed to be here. A man worth $11 billion, founder of Cross Dynamics, the tech empire that built half the surveillance software used by governments around the world, did not usually sit on private tribunals deciding the fate of ordinary people. But Cross had built something else too, quietly over the years. A private corporate board with the power to review cases that powerful people wanted handled away from public courts. And today, from his wheelchair, wrapped in a tailored suit worth more than most people's homes, he was about to decide the fate of a man named Daniel Hart. Free my father, and I will make you walk again. I will make you walk if you let him go. Sir, I know you can walk again. But first, you have to do what is right. Let my father go. The room erupted in laughter. Then make him dance for us too, someone sneered. Girl, we are all waiting for this little show of yours. Amelia, my daughter, please. Don't do this. Don't expose yourself to these people for my sake. How dare you interrupt this tribunal? This is not a stage for children. This board exists to deliver judgment, not entertain fantasies. Your words change nothing here, girl. Your father will be found guilty, and no miracle in this world is going to stop that. I request that this child be removed from the chamber immediately. We are in the middle of delivering a verdict, and we cannot allow a circus to delay these proceedings. Give her one moment, sir. She is only afraid of losing her father. That is all this is. I'm not afraid. I am telling the truth. My father is innocent, and somewhere in your heart, you already know it. And I can prove that you will walk again. The poor thing has lost her mind from the stress of it all. Someone remove this child before she embarrasses herself any further. You have exactly 2 minutes, girl. Leave this chamber on your own, or security will remove you. I'm not leaving until you hear me. My father never stole anything. Someone set him up, and somewhere inside, you already know that too. This is absurd. This child is disrupting an official proceeding. I demand she be escorted out right now. You remind me of someone who was once good, who once suffered something deeply unfair. You know what it feels like when no one believes you, when the whole world has already decided you're guilty before hearing a single word from you. I know you can still stand, not through medicine, not through surgery, but through justice. When you choose to do what is right, the impossible happens. I promise you that. 30 seconds, child. 30 seconds to convince this board that I should not have you removed and this sentence finalized. My father always told me the truth leaves a trail, and so do lies. Speak quickly then. The night they accused my father of stealing company funds, he was with me. At the hospital, I had a medical emergency, and the doctors admitted me immediately. He stayed by my side the entire night. There are records. There are cameras. There are nurses who saw him there the whole time. How could he have been stealing from a company while he was holding my hand as I cried in pain? Before we go any further into this story, if you love justice finally catching up to the people who think money can buy silence, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications, because this is Fortune X Stories, and we bring you the moments where the truth refuses to stay buried. Now, back to Amelia and her father. This is new and highly relevant information, one of the board members said, leaning forward. If the accused was at a hospital that night, he could not have carried out the transactions logged in the company system at the same hour. Objection. This is a baseless claim with no supporting proof. A desperate attempt to manipulate this tribunal through a child. Which hospital? Cross asked, his voice suddenly different, quieter than before. Hopewell Medical Center. Pediatric Wing. Room 4208. Early morning hours. I remember because my father never let go of my hand, not even once. He sang softly so I wouldn't be scared. The nurses said they had never seen a father so devoted. Counsel, did anyone verify the accused location that night? The transactions were made using his login credentials, sir. Physical presence isn't required for that. He could have accessed the system remotely. But if he was at the hospital, who was sitting at his desk using his computer, the access logs show a physical login at his workstation. Someone was sitting there, using his machine. This proceeding is in recess. I want every record from Hopewell Medical Center regarding that night on my desk within the hour. And counsel, your evidence had better hold up, because if hospital records confirm this case is far from finished. Sir, this is highly irregular. We are already in the sentencing phase, and it can return to the evidentiary phase if I determine this investigation failed somewhere. Take the child to a private room and bring her water. No one humiliates a child in front of me, not even in my own chamber. They laughed when he first walked back through those doors, not knowing what he had really come back to find. We have a problem, one voice muttered in a private corridor. Daniel, is it true you were actually at the hospital that night? I was. I said so from the very beginning, but they told me it didn't matter, that the digital evidence outweighed my alibi. No one wanted to listen. Someone deliberately buried your alibi. Someone wanted you convicted no matter what. Sir, the hospital records have arrived. I want Nurse Grace Bennett brought in to testify today. Consider it the highest priority. That could take hours to locate her, sir. Then start now. And I want Counsel Nathaniel Cole in my office in 5 minutes. Counsel, it appears there was a severe failure in how this case was investigated. A solid alibi was completely ignored. I want an explanation. Sir, I reviewed every document handed to me by the investigating officers. If an alibi existed, it was never in the files I received. Then either someone on the investigation team withheld it from you, or you withheld it from this board. Which is it, counsel? I swear I knew nothing about a hospital alibi, but I will find out immediately how this was missed. You will do far more than find out. You will explain to me how a case riddled with this many gaps ever reached sentencing. I did not build a company worth billions by ignoring details, counsel. I certainly will not start ignoring them here. Miss Bennett, were you working at Hopewell Medical Center on the night in question? Yes, sir. I was on duty in the pediatric wing. Do you remember Daniel Hart? I remember him very clearly. He stayed by his daughter's side the entire night. She was in terrible pain, and he never stepped away, not once. He even sang to help her fall asleep. It was one of the most moving things I've witnessed in my career. Can you confirm whether he left the building at any point that night? No, sir. I checked personally. He didn't even leave to eat. He asked only for water and stayed with the child the whole time. Why weren't you called to testify before now? I was interviewed by the police, sir. I told them everything I knew. After that, I was never contacted again. I assumed my account wasn't considered relevant. I formally request a complete review of this case. There is clear evidence my client was the victim of a setup, and that critical information was withheld from this board. Request granted. This proceeding is suspended pending a new investigation. Mr. Hart, you are released under supervised confinement until further facts are established. Remove his restraints. The walls were beginning to crack, and the truth was finally rising through them. Dad, you did it. My brave girl. You saved your father. One voice became a witness. One heart began to stand again. Mr. Hart, how does it feel to be free? Are you going to pursue a wrongful imprisonment claim? You told me this was a closed case, Nathaniel. You guaranteed there would be no complications. I didn't know about the hospital alibi. Someone on the investigation team hid it from me as well. I don't care about your excuses. There is too much at stake. If Daniel Hart starts asking questions, if he hires investigators, this entire scheme could come apart. And what exactly do you want me to do? The tribunal reopened the case. The nurse confirmed the alibi. Then find a way to discredit her. Or, better yet, find someone else to blame. But fix this, Nathaniel, because if you go down, you're not going down alone. Counsel Cole, please come in. I need to discuss some irregularities we found in the Hart case. Irregularities? This board ordered a complete audit of every document your office submitted, and we found something troubling. Where did you get this? Cross Dynamics built the archive system this entire tribunal runs on, counsel. Everything that passes through it gets backed up, including correspondence people assumed was private. I'll need you to come with me and make a formal statement. It would be wise to cooperate now, counsel. Bring me every file from my accident. Medical reports, the original investigation, everything. A box full of buried memories and one long-delayed truth. Attorney Bishop, this is Alexander Cross. Bring your client back tomorrow morning, and anything he has connecting Meridian Holdings to corruption. I believe we've stumbled onto something much larger than one wrongful conviction. Counsel Cole has been compromised, and Cross is asking questions. Then we remove the problem. No, we've already drawn too much attention. If something happens to Cross or Hart now, this entire investigation lands back on us. And Cross isn't just some tribunal chairman. He owns half the servers this city's data runs through. People notice when a man like that disappears. Then what do you suggest? We give them someone to sacrifice. Cole is finished either way. Let all the evidence point only to him, and let it stop there. Then let's remind the chairman that accidents happen twice sometimes. Perhaps this time involving a small, courageous girl. Amelia, wake up, sweetheart. Wake up now. Dad, what's wrong? We're leaving this house right now. Come with me. What happened? Look at this. We need to warn the authorities. The authorities? It was the police who manipulated evidence against me. How am I supposed to trust them now? Then we go straight to Alexander Cross. He needs to see this. You can do this, Amelia. If a child can find enough faith to challenge an entire tribunal, you can find enough faith to try this too. Thank you, sir. Thank you for everything. Attorney Bishop is here. It's urgent, sir. Come in. We received a threat. This confirms everything we suspected. Confirms what exactly? Meridian Holdings isn't just an investment firm. It's a front for a laundering operation involving politicians, businessmen, and public officials. For years, they've diverted funds, inflated contracts, and bought silence. And whenever someone discovers something or becomes a liability, they eliminate the problem, sometimes literally, other times the way they did to your client, by fabricating evidence, destroying reputations, guaranteeing convictions. I saw something, didn't I? That's why they framed me. What exactly did you see? A few days before my arrest, I was closing financial reports. I noticed discrepancies in one client's account, money moving in and out with no proper documentation. I assumed it was a posting error, so I mentioned it to my supervisor. And what did he tell you? He said it was a special account with different handling rules and told me not to worry about it. You disturbed something you weren't meant to find. That account was almost certainly a shell used to launder money. And once you started asking questions, you became a threat. But why frame me instead of simply firing me? Because competent people ask questions. They needed you not just removed, but discredited entirely. A theft conviction means nothing you say afterward carries any weight. If we have this information, we can bring it to federal prosecutors. We can bring this entire organization down. We can. But first, we secure this family's safety. I'll pull in my own private security team tonight. Cross Dynamics protects its own long before the government ever shows up. Sir, we have a problem. Nathaniel Cole has disappeared. Disappeared how? He never went home last night. His apartment is empty. He isn't answering calls. And we found something troubling in his office. At least 15 cases over the past 5 years, all following the same pattern. A capable person discovers something, asks the wrong questions, and suddenly finds themselves accused of a crime they never committed. Evidence appears out of nowhere. Witnesses go silent or disappear. The system crushes them. Dad, the nurse who helped you, she might be in danger too. Send a patrol car to Grace Bennett's residence immediately and put protection on this family as well. Already moving, sir. Amelia, you're very brave. Braver than most adults I have known. I just wanted to save my father. You did far more than that. You saved me too. How? Years ago, before Cross Dynamics ever became what it is today, I was investigating a corruption scheme that reached into places I never imagined. I was in an accident that put me in this chair. At the time, I accepted it as bad luck, the price of chasing the wrong people. Yesterday, I learned it wasn't an accident. It was sabotage. The same people who destroyed your father tried to silence me, and I let them win. I built an empire instead. I grew cold, bitter. I stopped searching for truth and started only following contracts and profit margins. Until yesterday, when a girl told me I could walk again if I simply did what was right. I thought it sounded absurd. Impossible. All my money, all my technology, and none of it had ever fixed this. But it's happening. Every hour that passes, I feel more strength returning. Medicine would call this impossible. Science would call it impossible. But it is happening anyway. When you challenged me, you didn't just challenge me to release your father. You challenged me to wake up, to remember why I ever wanted power in the first place, to believe again that justice is not simply something you can buy or bury. And when I began doing that, something inside me began to wake up too. Not just in spirit. Sir, we found Nurse Bennett. She's safe, but she says 2 men tried to break in her home this morning. She escaped through the back and hid at a neighbor's house. Bring her in now, and I want maximum security around her. We have enough now to begin dismantling this organization, but we need to move carefully. If we show our hand too early, they'll erase the evidence and sacrifice their smaller pieces. Nathaniel Cole. That's why he disappeared. Exactly. They'll pin everything on him, claim he acted alone out of personal ambition. The real architects will walk away untouched. So what do? We turn their own game against them. They believe money and power make them untouchable, that they can sacrifice any piece they choose. But they forgot something important. What's that, sir? That the most powerful piece on the board was never the king, and it was never the money either. It's the queen. And sometimes the queen arrives in the form of a courageous little girl who refuses to give up. Tomorrow, we reopen not just your father's case, but every case on that list. We show the world exactly what these people did, and this time, I will not stop until every one of them faces real justice. I have the resources to make sure they can't hide behind anyone this time. You're going to walk into that chamber tomorrow. I'm going to do more than walk. I'm going to run toward the justice these people thought they had buried forever, using every dollar and every system I've ever built. Sir, I didn't know you could already. I couldn't, not until a few days ago. But today I need to be ready for something far bigger than simply standing. We have news. We found Nathaniel Cole. Where? In the river. A fisherman found him this morning. Officially ruled a suicide. But the coroner found marks suggesting he was forced to write a confession before the end. They killed him and staged it. They eliminated the one witness who could connect them directly to the scheme. Not the only evidence, though. Before he disappeared, Cole sent a scheduled message to his personal attorney. If he didn't cancel it within 24 hours, it would send automatically. He never canceled it. Where are they now? On their way to the chamber. They were called as witnesses in the Hart case. They have no idea what evidence we're holding. Then let's give them the reckoning they've earned. It's going to be all right, sweetheart. Today, this ends. And I promise you, Alexander Cross is going to do what's right. And when he does, everyone will see that sometimes miracles really do happen. Daniel, we need to talk before we go in. New information changes everything. We have the names of the real people behind this. We have solid evidence. But these are powerful people. A businessman with an empire of his own. A senator with connections reaching all the way to the Capitol. A police chief who controls half the investigations in this city. One misstep, one gap left open, and they slip through our fingers. What I need to do? Trust Cross. Trust justice. And trust whatever your daughter lit inside all of us. Hope. I needed to see this with my own eyes. I needed to watch these people finally answer for what they did. This proceeding is now in session. Today, we are not here simply to revisit Daniel Hart's case. We are here to expose a network of corruption that has destroyed lives, manipulated justice, and stained everything this board was built to protect. And I say this as a man who has more reason than most in this room to know exactly what money can hide, because I've spent a lifetime building the very systems people use to hide it. I call forward Gerald Whitmore, Chief Executive of Meridian Holdings. Sir, I'm here to cooperate fully. My company has always operated within the law. Always. Then explain multi-million-dollar transfers to shell accounts in offshore havens. Explain payments made to Nathaniel Cole, found dead yesterday. Explain inflated contracts awarded to companies that don't exist. I have no knowledge of any of this. If irregularities occurred, they happened without my awareness. Without your awareness? This is your personal account, your digital signature, your direct instructions to fabricate evidence against an innocent man. My own engineers traced every one of these transactions back to your devices. That could have been forged, hacked. It could have been. But it wasn't, and I built the systems that prove it. I call forward Senator Marcus Kane. Senator, you sponsored 3 bills in recent years that directly benefited Meridian Holdings. Tax reductions, weakened oversight, protection from audits. In exchange, you received campaign contributions totaling millions. Legal contributions, within all limits set by law. Contributions funneled through shell companies created solely to launder the money you helped protect. And when irregularities began surfacing, you used your influence to bury the investigations. I call forward Chief Oliver Reyes. Chief, 15 cases. 15 innocent people framed under your direct supervision. Evidence planted. Witnesses silenced. Investigations steered. All to protect Meridian Holdings and silence anyone who dared to ask a question. Prove it. Bring in the witnesses. My name is Teresa Foster. I was an accountant at Meridian Holdings. I discovered discrepancies and reported them. 1 week later, I was accused of embezzlement. I lost my job, my reputation, my family. I spent 2 years in prison for a crime I never committed. My name is Richard Nolan, investigative journalist. I was preparing a report on suspicious government contracts. I was accused of slander before I ever published a word. My career ended before it started. None of this proves anything in this chamber. These are allegations. Coincidences. We have Nathaniel Cole's testimony, recorded before he was murdered. He sent complete evidence to his personal attorney before he disappeared. Recorded conversations between the 3 of you. Detailed instructions on how cases were manipulated. Payment records. And a final recorded statement made as insurance that ultimately failed to save him. If you're watching this, it means I could not escape. It means they found me. But before I go, I will make certain the truth survives. I did terrible things. I destroyed innocent lives. I did it because I was afraid of them. And now that fear is going to end me. Don't make my mistake. Don't let fear outweigh truth. Get that flash drive. Now, we have it, sir. Hold your positions. You think it's only the 3 of us? This goes much deeper. Judges, prosecutors, politicians, businessmen. Everyone is part of this. If we fall, we take everyone down with us. Dad, look, he's standing. He really did it. Years ago, I lost the ability to walk. But I lost something far worse than that. I lost the ability to believe in justice, in truth, in decency. I told myself money and power were enough to matter in this world. A child challenged me. She told me I would walk again if I simply chose to do what was right. At the time, I believed it was impossible, the naive hope of someone too young to understand how the world truly works. But she was right. Not about magic. Not about miracles in the way we imagine them. She was right about something deeper. When we choose to do what is right, when we choose justice over convenience and truth over comfort, something inside us heals. Something wakes up. You built an empire on other people's suffering. You destroyed families. You ruined lives. You stained the very system meant to protect the innocent. And you did it believing you were untouchable, that no consequence would ever reach you. But every injustice eventually meets its reckoning. And today is that day. Gerald Whitmore, Marcus Kane, and Oliver Reyes, you are formally charged with organized corruption, procedural fraud, falsification of evidence, and as the architects behind the murder of Nathaniel Cole. You will be taken into custody immediately, and you will answer for every one of these crimes. You will not get away with this. This is a mistake, and you will regret it. For each family harmed by this scheme, full compensation will be provided, funded personally through my foundation. Every name will be cleared, every record expunged, and every day spent unjustly in prison will be financially compensated. Daniel Hart, please step forward. Mr. Hart, on behalf of this board, and on behalf of every dollar I ever used to look away instead of look closer, I ask your forgiveness. Forgiveness for not listening from the start. Forgiveness for nearly allowing an innocent man to be convicted. Forgiveness for letting the system fail you and your daughter. Thank you for raising a daughter who taught me something I had forgotten, that justice is not merely something you can build, own, or automate. It is seeking truth. It is protecting the innocent. It is having the courage to question what feels wrong, no matter how much money stands behind it. Amelia, you saved your father. You saved 15 other families. And you saved me. Not just my legs, my soul. I only wanted you to do what was right. Because when we do what is right, good things happen, even the things that seem impossible. You were right, far more right than you could have known. For your extraordinary courage, for your unshakable faith, and for being the spark that reignited justice when it had nearly been extinguished, Amelia Hart is hereby granted this board's highest honor for civic courage. This case taught every one of us something fundamental, that power, wealth, and systems built by brilliant people can still be corrupted, can still fail, can still look away. But people can also stand back up, can question, can fight. Let this story serve as a warning to the powerful who believe money places them above the law. It does not. And to the innocent who suffer injustice, do not give up, because the truth always finds its way through. And to the rest of us, never underestimate the power of one courageous person who refuses to accept wrong as normal. When justice finally calls, the walls fall and the truth rises again. If this story moved you, remember to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who still believes the truth always finds its way. This has been Fortune X Stories. We'll see you in the next one.